Opened in 1946, the Richmond Raceway has undergone significant reconfigurations, leading to today's beloved 3/4-mile D-shaped oval we'll race on this evening. With over 130 NASCAR Cup races on the track, it's more than a mainstay, and it's the penultimate step on the Icon Cup Series calendar leading to the playoffs. Welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Richmond, Virginia. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV, and it's a pleasure to join you for continuing coverage of the 2024 Icon Cup Series. Tonight's coverage from Richmond is, of course, brought to you by Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, and by CC's Business. And as we get set to get racing this evening from this small D-shaped oval, welcome in. Let's talk about this track. Of course, Richmond Raceway checks into that 3/4-mile mark, and it used to be a dirt track. It used to be a half-mile true dirt oval before the front stretch was kicked out to be a D shape in that kind of curved front straightaway and add that extra 1/4 mile to this racetrack. It used to be smaller, now it's a bit longer, it's paved, it's got relatively high banks, and it is a difficult place to get around in any car, let alone these NASCAR Cup Series next-gen vehicles that make it oh so tough to get around any kind of short track. Here you look at the Richmond Raceway track map. It is, of course, as I mentioned, that D-shaped oval. Pit lane extends from turn 4 all the way into turn number 1. It's not just down the front stretch, but through a little bit of the corners as well, as you can see it there in some of the B-roll shots. And of course, if we talk about point standings, they're a little more important than the track map this evening, I'd say. Boy, things have gotten interesting. A lot more drivers have locked into the playoffs by points alone, including Kyle Purcell, Jacob Gladgelich, Justin Bissonette, Joshua Clemens, and Adam Ball. Now, we will not see all of these drivers here this evening. Justin Bissonette, unfortunately, is not here. He's undergone some significant hardware failures lately. In fact, the last 2 races at Atlanta and California were the worst, and he ended up taking out some drivers with him. So he's not here this evening. I believe still working on getting moved into a new place and getting that hardware issue resolved. Hopefully he's back with us in time for the playoffs at Daytona in just a couple of weeks. But the playoff cut line has gotten a lot less interesting, oddly enough. It's actually blown up to quite a large margin between the last car in, the first car out. Boy, 27 points between Brock Hersey and Brad Delph is a large margin. Both of those drivers are here, including Evan Patinko. Cody Neal has not yet signed in. He is not yet here this evening. He may officially, finally, be a scratch for the playoffs here in 2024. Timothy Harper took a long time to sign into practice, but he did eventually show up. He's on track now on his first lap of practice, as a lot of these drivers have eclipsed 70, 80, 90 laps. In fact, one driver, Adam Ball, is up to 108, and Thomas Taylor is up to 116 laps of practice. Some drivers are in the single digits still, as Brian Smith goes fastest this evening in the practice session. The schedule for 2024 looks like this. Richmond, the final short track before we go playoff racing. We have one more race, that's Michigan, the final race before we go playoff racing. And we won't see another short track until Bristol at race number 30, so it'll be a little while until the end of September, it looks like, and before we go back short track racing at Bristol, Tennessee. Then we have Martinsville to look forward to, and that's about it for short tracks. It's a lot of intermediates from here on out. Michigan, Darlington, Atlanta, well, that's kind of a super speedway now. Kansas, Las Vegas, Miami, and Phoenix, some intermediates that we have to look forward to. And in addition to all of that so far this evening, we've got one driver looking for his 3rd consecutive Richmond race win. That'll be Nathan Finnegan down there in the 6 car. Practice comes to a close. That means qualifying is about to start, and we are ready to go at it. These drivers, they're going to have to make the most of a pretty overcast day. In fact, if we look at the track conditions, 76.1 degrees in the air, 84 on track. It's a little bit warm. I wouldn't say hot, but it's not exactly ideal conditions with the overcast skies. That might actually help them in some ways, hurt them in some others. We'll have to wait and see exactly what goes on here during this race. Let's go on board with Jacob Gladulich and watch as he gets up to speed here in qualifying. Worked on a couple of things behind the scenes. That's why I've been quiet for a couple of moments. I appreciate everybody's patience there, but qualifying underway, as you can see, and so far Nathan Finnegan fastest on track in the number 6 car. A new paint scheme for him, looking for his 3rd consecutive Richmond race win. We'll see if he can get it done this evening. Cameron Thompson fast on track, as well as Kyle Gilbert. Thompson goes to, let's see, he's going to go from 7. Let's see if he can go any higher on the board. It's going to stay. Actually, he's going to drop down to 8th as Zach Lockett comes out of nowhere and goes 2nd. Big lap out of him. Let's go and find Vincent Loria and go on board with driver 67 as he looks for pole. So Nathan Finnegan, Zach Lockett, Adam Ball, Kyle Gilbert, Nathan Brzezowski, your top 5 in qualifying so far. Vincent Loria coming around to complete lap number 1. Lap number 2 is going to be his best lap, it looks like, as he takes a slower line to get a run here at the line. Lap 1, sure enough, 12th place, not where he wants to be. So we're watching here for lap number 2 for Vincent Loria. Looks solid through turns 1 and 2, down to turn number 3. Hard on the brakes. Trying not to lock up that left front, and out of turn number 4 to the start-finish line for Loria. It's going to be a 22.382, and that is just good enough for 2nd spot by just a bit over. Well, he gets usurped. It's going to be Logan Romney now in the 42 car who bumps up to 2nd spot. And that was on lap 1, so he's still got lap 2 cooking. Logan Romney, newcomer to the series, might have something for these guys on lap number 2. Let's see what he's got out of the corner. A 22.661. He slows down on lap number 2. Brian Smith now on track. Completes lap number 1, goes 15th, as does, well, Ryan Patty will come around to complete his first lap here in a moment. Ryan Patty to the stripe, a 22.760 his first lap. That's a little faster than Brian Smith's first lap, but Brian Smith going for that pole time, potentially out of the corner. A 22 on the way, a 22.384. That is good for 4th spot. It'll be just behind Vincent Loria by 3/1000th of a second. Then the Grillos Pickles Chevrolet, I love that. Ryan Patty out of the corner. Whoa, hello, a 22.258. That is good for 2nd spot. We've got a fast pickle on our hands. Wow. And that's going to do it for qualifying. That is one fast pickle. Brian Patty took that comment last week to heart that we need more green paint schemes out there, and went out there and painted us up a beautiful Grillo's Pickles number 30 car for us this weekend. And that's going to do it for qualifying. We can take a look at the Whiplash SimCam's race details. The 240-lap race, you see the stage splits at 48, then 141, and finally all the way to 240 in stage number 3. It'll be a 48-lap stage 1, a 93-lap stage 2, and a 99-lap stage number 3. 5 change sets in the pit lane, no fast fix, an incident penalty of 24 incidents, then every 9 thereafter, a 60% fuel limit, equating to about 75 to 80 laps per tank. It should be a pretty straightforward, cut and dry, one stop, stage 2 and stage 3. With Whiplash SimCam's race details in mind, cars are on track for a warm-up. This is a final little moment for these guys to get ready before going racing. Joshua Clemens recently locking into the playoffs. There you see him in a brand new paint scheme for car 44. Something a little different. White there with the blue. Boy, if that blue were metallic, it would really shine. Maybe we'll have to get Anthony DeSeo on that one. Timothy Harper in the 12 car. Same paint scheme we've seen for him for a little while now. Then you've got Evan Patinko out there in the white, black, and red 96 car spinning. He's looking to try and make these playoffs. It's going to take one last-ditch effort out of car 96. He's going to have to go for a race win in one of these last 2 races. So we're on the side of car 96, but it's a tall order for him to go out and win one of these Icon Cup Series races. We'll be watching along as driver 96 gives it a shot. Vincent Loria going fastest. He just misses Thomas Taylor spinning there in turns 1 and 2. Kyle Gilbert now goes fastest. Nathan Finnegan on the racetrack, a new paint scheme there. Kodak Behavioral Healthcare on the side of that number 6 car. A new number font as well. Really like what's been done there. Our own Waylon Turner taking a stab at a paint scheme there for Nathan Finnegan. And boy, does it look good. It shines beautifully under the Richmond sun. Charlie Widener still chasing that first win of the season in car 95. 8th so far in warm-up. Now 9th as Kevin Gunther goes up to 2nd, and Romney's going to go fastest. Loria then goes faster. Boy, the times are flying in a hurry. You can tell these guys need some extra practice. Here's Zach Lockett in the 93 car. Been waiting to see more and more of him. He is currently in the playoffs, but needs some good runs to cap off the regular season and go into the playoffs with some strength. Kyle Purcell in the 0-1 car here this evening. His brother, Sean Purcell, nowhere to be found. The 0-4, it looks like, is not going to make it as Loku goes fastest. Nathan Finnegan. One here in the spring is looking to do it again in the summer and go for a 2nd Richmond race win this year. It would be the 3rd in a row for the Icon Cup Series, and it would be his 3rd this season as well. It's a big win that he would get if he can get it done here this evening. We're watching the 6 car. He is going to be one of the best drivers, I think, here this evening. Time will tell. We'll see what car number 6 can do. Jacob Smith is back here tonight in the 21 car. We go for a spin. Heath Smith is here in the number 11. Brock Hersey, of course, in the 24 car. He's in the pit lane. Here's Anthony DeSeo at his Vans Ford Mustang. We saw Kyle Gilbert. How about Cody Eldred in the 32 car? Of course, Ryan Patty out there in the Grillos. Pickles, number 30. He'll be starting from 2nd spot today. So that's a look around the field. I want to take a look at what's upcoming for us at Pit Stop TV before we go racing this evening. For those of you watching that maybe don't know about it, we've picked up a new series. It's the BRB Bunt Kicker Cup Series. They go racing in 2 nights rather, from the Eldora Speedway. August 13th, we're taking NASCAR Cup Series cars to the dirt at Eldora in Rossburg, Ohio. You've got to tune in for this one. Eldora with NASCAR Cup Series cars is going to be a lot of fun. 8:45 Eastern on Tuesday night. Then we go to Michigan with the Icon Cup Series right back here in a week's time, heading out to a home track of many in this series. I think of Anthony DeSeo, Vincent Loria, Brian Smith, I believe. A lot of drivers from up that way. And then on August 20th, we go to Chicagoland Speedway with the Butt Kicker Cup Series. That should be a lot of fun as well. It's that time to go down the CC's Business starting grid, and on pole in car number 6. How about defending race winner Nathan Finnegan? Looking for his 3rd win on the season, would be 2nd here at Richmond this year, would be his 3rd in a row at this racetrack. Let's see if car 6 can get it done. Ryan Patty will start from the 2nd spot. Starting 3rd and 4th, it's a newcomer, Logan Romney on the inside in the 42 car, and Vincent Loria on the outside in car 67. Starting from 5th spot, it's Brian Smith with that race win at California, now bumping up into double digits, 10 wins now on the season, alongside Zach Lockett, looking for his 1st win of the season. Adam Ball, Kyle Gilbert, Adam Ball now locked into the playoffs, I believe. I can double check that. Check my notes, and yes, he's the final car so far to lock in by points. I believe Kevin Gunther and Zach Lockett will also do so just by starting this race. You see Kyle Gilbert there on the outside of row 4. Nathan Brzezowski in the 77 rolls off 9th. Cody Eldred will roll off from the 10th spot. Starting 11th and 12th, it's Timothy Harper and Charlie Widener. Widener still chasing that 1st win of the season. We talk about it every single week. He's been the best driver without a race win this season. Is always looking to go to victory lane. It couldn't happen last week. It couldn't happen the week before. Maybe it happens here tonight. Who knows? As Cameron Thompson rolls off 13th. Brad Dell from the 14th spot. 15th and 16th, Kevin Gunther, Jacob Gladgelich. 17th and 18th, Stephen Tuck and Joshua Clemens now locked into the playoffs. 19th and 20th, Eric Smith. A season, career, whatever you want to call it, day last week in California. Went out and got a top 10. Anthony DeSeo will roll off from the 20th spot. 21st and 22nd, Kyle Purcell and Thomas Taylor. Back into row number 12, Evan Patinko and Brock Hersey. And finally, Heath Smith and Jacob Smith bring up the rear of the field. A couple of fast cars there at the rear. And if you look at the Whiplash SimCam's race details one more time, you can see we are going racing for 240 laps this evening. 5 change sets in the pit lane. No fast fix for these drivers. An incident penalty at 24 incidents at every 9 thereafter. We anticipate fuel runs to be about 75 to 80 laps thereabouts. And boy, is it going to be a lot of fun. We'll turn the music down, we'll turn the engines up, and hand things over to the one, the only, Nathan Finnegan, getting ready to go racing from Richmond Raceway, waiting on the green flag. We are green for 240 at Richmond. Already a bit of a problem for Heath Smith. He will not make the start of this race, and you saw the issue down to turn 1 for Ryan Patty. He went up the racetrack in a hurry. There was contact there with Logan Romney in the 42 car. I believe the 42 might have net-coded into the 30 car just a little bit. Side by side now, you see Vincent Loria and Brian Smith. Romney slots into 3rd, 4th, and 5th now. The 67 and 78 side by side, and Brian Smith is going to get that spot away. Ryan Patty goes fastest lap number 2. As you see, the 42 car is still blinking all over the racetrack. That might draw the ire of some serious admins. That might have to be taken care of as one car goes all the way to the inside. That was Cameron Thompson in the 7. Just hangs on to his race car, and he will continue on. Here we go, pass for 3rd. Brian Smith to the inside of car 42. Romney sliding back a little bit. Last minute number change for that Toyota. Here comes Vincent Loria looking to the inside of the number 42 car. Boy, those connection issues for the 42 have got to get figured out. That's going to hold up Zach Lockett here in the 93 car, I'd imagine. He gets the wall just a little bit down the back straightaway. Talked about the weather conditions coming into this race. Earlier on, the track temp was a little bit higher. It was in the 80s. Now it's down to 79 degrees at the start of this race. We'll have to monitor that as this race goes on. And of course, contrary to what you see in the NASCAR Cup Series race that's finishing up now, we do not have a prime and option tire. We only have the one tire choice for these drivers. That is a brand new thing that's come to the NASCAR Cup Series, has not yet made its way to iRacing in any concept or any way, at least with the NASCAR Cup Series vehicles. It is an option on other Formula-style cars like the IndyCar or even the Formula One cars, but that is not something that we have yet for NASCAR Cup Series vehicles. We don't have that double compound option. Watch the two race leaders, Finnegan and Patty, out front after 7 laps complete, rather. We're on lap 8. Everybody's nice and tightly packed. We do have a pass back here, though. Jacob Gladulich working on Kyle Purcell, trying to take that spot away. And it's not over yet. You see Purcell fire back on the top side. Gladulich is trying to make his way by. And he'll get a run there out of turn 2 and then loses it all back. The 0-1, I think, is going to clear down into turn 3, and sure enough, Kyle Purcell gets that spot away. See Jacob Smith right behind the 14 car. He's working from the very back of this field. Started down in the very last position. 26th position, in fact. So after 10 laps, from 26th up to 17th, not a bad start to the night for the 21 car as he works from the very back of the field. 25 cars in all took the green flag. Heath Smith not a part of the field. Unsure as to why, although you see those tire tracks on the outside of the racetrack. I can't help but wonder if maybe something happened there to the 11 car on the pace laps. Just behind this, we saw a side-by-side between Joshua Clemens and Stephen Tuck. That's been sorted out. See Cameron Thompson there in tow. As Jacob Smith looks to clear the 14 of Gladulich. He will do so finally, moves up the racetrack. Now you see the 14 right back to the inside and nearly wipes out the 21 car. Just missed the left rear of Jacob Smith's machine. No contact, they keep racing. Meanwhile, a battle for second is shaping up. Brian Smith draws closer and closer to the 30 car. You hear the downshift. A lot of these guys are going to downshift into 4th gear. In fact, they all should be downshifting into 4th gear in the corners, leaving it in 4th in the backstretch, and likely upshifting on the front straightaway from 4th to 5th gear. Watch the telemetry here on the bottom right for Brian Smith. There's the shift into 5th, and he goes to the inside of car 30 here on lap 15. An early move for the 2nd spot, and he's nearly got it away. The outside lane here at Richmond is very viable, very fun to use, easy to defend from. It's just a matter of actually knowing how to use it right, and it's not easy to do. It's a lot of fun to do, but it's not easy to do, to use that outside lane to your advantage like this, but Ryan Patty so far is doing it. See, they stay side by side. Brian Smith actually falls back for a moment. And there's nearly contact between these two cars through turns 1 and 2. You see they've backed up as well to the 67 of Loria. I think that's why Smith got in line. Didn't want Loria to get to the outside of the 78 car and start to use the outside lane against him. So these three now sit in line. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spots. And work around the racetrack, a Chevrolet, a Toyota, and a Ford. And there you see Ryan Patty stays high. Brian Smith works low. Patty slow off the corner, gets into the outside wall. Here's a pass attempt from Brian Smith. He will just about get it. Patty drives into his right rear, and Patty's going to lose the spot and then some. Falls back to the 4th spot. The 7 having some more problems. Cameron Thompson is down to 22nd position off screen. We've also got Charlie Widener getting closer and closer to Nathan Brzezowski. Kyle Gilbert right behind. We jump on board here with the 95 car. Here these cars will be loose off of turn 2 all race long. Something about the way the banking falls away here at Richmond has made NASCAR stock cars super loose on iRacing here from the get-go. For as long as I can remember here at Richmond, NASCAR stock cars, whether it's the truck, the Xfinity car, the Cup car, the old Cup car, they've all gotten loose off of turn number 2. It's sometimes better to exit low and not go all the way up to the top of the racetrack, where the banking falls off a little bit harder. As you see the 227 get a little free. That's Kyle Gilbert. Right behind him, you've got a line of cars, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Eldred, Gunther, and Harper all in line. And Gunther takes a stab to the inside of Cody Eldred. This is for the 11th spot. Gunther dives to the inside of turn 1, takes the spot away. Timothy Harper looks to fill the hole, and will do so rather nicely. Takes the nose away into turn number 3, and there's the spot for 12th. So move car 12 up one more spot. Just behind him here, Jacob Smith, Kyle Purcell. That battle comes to a close. Jacob Smith winning out. And that is good to move the 21 car now into the 15th spot. So some good battles going on early in this race. You see him working around the racetrack. Things holding steady up front, although one car has gone one lap down. That is Eric Smith in the 79 from Outback Motorsports. He's a lap down. Got his first top 10 of the season and his career last time out of California. Next up to go a lap down will be the KU Motorsports 15 car, the Ford Mustang of Anthony Teseo. You see Finnegan there in the background looking to put the 15 car one lap down here very, very soon. Something about the 6 car in Richmond just really clicks here for Nathan Finnegan. We don't know what exactly just yet. Maybe we can talk to him and find out. But something about this place just clicks for this guy, and he has been really good so far tonight. A 2-second race lead as he goes by Teseo through turns 3 and 4. Back to these two, Smith and Finnegan, Smith and Loria rather, who have driven away from Ryan Patty in the 30 car. So some separation here early at our first short track race since June at Iowa. Got a battle deeper in the field. Joshua Clemens working up to Jacob Gladulich. These guys are some 13 seconds behind the race leaders. You see Evan Patinko there just behind. Battle further up, Kyle Gilbert on the inside, Timothy Harper on the outside, Gilbert falling backwards. Harper moving up into the top 10 with that pass, and now looks to the inside. You know, we haven't had many short track races this season, but Harper has won one of them. He went to victory lane back at Bristol Motor Speedway and would love to do something like that again here and go to victory lane at Richmond. He's had a very solid start to the day. Well, I say solid. He must have had something happen at the start because he fell outside of the top 12, top 13 or so. Fell back to about 14th and has worked back up, but the car looks strong. Using that pace, move back through this field as you see a gaggle behind. Eldred, Delph, Smith, all in this little fight. They work by Eric Smith in the 79 car. Kyle Purcell's in this group and draws right to the back of the 21 car to turn 1, goes wide, but Delph and Jacob Smith will be our newest fight. And remember, the stage ends at lap 48, so the completion thereof, we are rocketing towards the end of stage 1 already. Brzezowski moves by Adam Ball. That is good for 7th spot. So bump Brzezowski up 1. Meanwhile, Kevin Gunther and Kyle Gilbert battle. Gunther wins out. That's good for 11th. Cameron Thompson, Stephen Tuck. Thompson on the recovery drive. Tuck just trying to hang on. That's good for 20th spot. And then I go right back up to Vincent Loria trying to chase down Brian Smith or at least stick with him here. You see that 1.2, 1.3 second back to Ryan Patty, but up ahead, 2.5 tenths for Brian Smith in the 78 car, sometimes growing, sometimes shrinking. And if this stays a track position race, the 6 car, of course, has the leg up right now. If he could just hang on through pit stops and everything else, it might be a really good day for the 6 of Nathan Finnegan. We'll have to wait and see. Battle here in the top 10, though. Harper pulls up on the 95. This is for 9th position. This time by the start-finish, it'll be 11 laps to go in stage 1 for these drivers. And Harper dives to the inside of turn 1, nearly gets into the 95 car of Widener, but stays low. Has the run out of turn number 2. And drops the nose into turn 3, right down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Will take that 9th spot away. So move Harper up 1 more spot. Widener falls back. And, oh, hello, a little bit of contact maybe for 2nd position. Loria has drawn to the back end of the 78 car. Now using the full extent of the racetrack out wide in turns 1 and 2, trying to get a run for the backstretch. It's not going to happen there. There is something to be said for trying other lines and moving around on the racetrack as we've got a pit stop. Kyle Gilbert with a lot of damage comes on in here, and this is definitely not scheduled. He has been in the wall hard. If I had to guess, he got loose out of turn 2, smacked the outside wall. This is actually after it's happened. So perhaps not. Perhaps something different for the 227. We'll ride on board with driver 227. And here's into turn 1. Well, free there on entry, on under braking, got loose, and sure enough, boom, turn 2 wall. So he had to drive around the racetrack like that for an extra lap. You see, it just did not turn into turn 3. He took a whole lap around the track like that. So problems for a driver who has been super strong as of late in this Icon Cup Series. Of course, a part-timer, as you see with the PT next to his name. But has really been a lot of fun to watch. Has had a lot of speed lately on the short run. Problems here early, and that'll back him all the way up to the very last position of 25th. As here we go, side by side for not the race lead, but for 2nd spot. Loria to the inside of Brian Smith. Loria has the edge of the turn 2, gets free, just hangs on to the race car, and he might have to settle as Ryan Patty comes under fire from Logan Romney and is going to get turned by the blinking 42 car. Nearly turns him all the way around. This is going to be a problem with the blinking 42. This is going to be a big problem. Zach Lockett, meanwhile, has lost the 6th position to Nathan Brzezowski. And we are just 3 laps away from the completion of stage number 1. In fact, now make it 2 laps away from the end of stage 1. Brian Smith, Vincent Loria, they're now spread out as we work into some lap traffic. Patty and Romney again, nose to tail. Patty a little bit slower, Romney a little bit faster, but Romney is blinking all over the place. No wonder he's faster. He's been on the track about half the time. The tires should be about twice as good. Lap 48, final lap of stage 1. Here comes the 6th car of Nathan Finnegan. He has led wire to wire thus far. It's a 2.7 second gap. And this time, out of turn number 4, it'll be a checkered flag, a green and white checkered flag for the number 6 stage 1 win for Nathan Finnegan. As the rest of the field comes on by the start-finish line, now under caution. Logan Romney, the final spot in the top 5 for a stage point. It'll be Finnegan, Smith, Loria, Patty. The top 4 in the standings, the top 4 on the racetrack. And we expect pit stops here this time by. Sure enough, here comes the field down to pit lane. It's going to be, I think, a pretty cut and dry 4 tires and fuel for everybody. We might see some 2 tires, but I don't think we'll see anybody stay out. I don't think we'll see anybody go for no tires, fuel only. I don't think that's going to happen. Romney, it looks like, is pulling over. He has been turned around in the pit lane. A replay of that in a moment, but the field works down the pit lane. Finnegan, Smith, Loria, and everybody else comes on in. Finnegan, of course, down to that final stop, that final box. Wait on these guys to exit the pit lane. So Finnegan should have the easiest work to start, not the start-finish line, the pit line. Brian Smith exits. It's going to be, yes, just barely the 6th car over the number 78 and the 67, the 30, the 77, the 12, the 93. So Harper picks up a spot. And what happened to the 42? Here he is blinking under caution. Going to happen down here in the pit lane. He's on the racetrack, on the racetrack, on the racetrack. Does he hit the attenuator? Oh my gosh. Well, I know that part wasn't blinking for him. So that's a really big mistake for the 42 car of Logan Romney. Hit the barrels at the end of pit lane and did a bit of a spin. He now sits in the pit lane getting some damage repairs, and his day has come unhinged. Well, it means we can quickly dial up our stage 1 winner of Nathan Finnegan. And talk to driver number 6 out of Rhode Island. It's a stage win for you, Nathan. A solid stage at that, leading every single lap from pole position. The car must feel good. How good does it feel?
It's great, Andrew. Appreciate you asking. It's really love this track. Love Richmond. Love coming here. Well, I ended up taking it home to Victory Lane in the spring and hoping to go take the season sweep if we can get in Victory Lane today. So we definitely got the car for it.
I hear you're going for your 3rd straight Richmond win. What is it about Richmond that just clicks with you?
I think the short tracks in general really play to my benefit in terms of my driving style, and it's definitely a driver's course as much as it might not seem that way in real life with the actual Cup Series guys, but there's definitely a lot of finesse involved with just getting it in smoothly and getting it off the corner without burning your stuff up.
How tough has turn 2 been tonight? Turn 4 shouldn't be that bad, I'd imagine, but how tough has turn 2 been?
Not too bad. You just got to avoid that apex, that high bump, if you will, off of 2. Honestly, turn 4 is worse for me here than turn 2, but I find I'm able to diamond it pretty well, and yeah, this thing's rotating really nicely.
Best of luck here in stage 2. We're watching for you.
Appreciate that, buddy. Thank you.
Nathan Finnegan goes back down with his teammates and will turn things back over to driver number 6. Out of turn number 4, green flag back in the air. We're racing to the completion of lap 141, nearly 100 laps. Side by side down here with 1 lap complete now after the restart. And it's going to be second spot with the first side-by-side battle. It's the 78 of Smith, rather. Jeez, the 78 of Smith, the 67 of Loria. Everybody's Finnegan on my mind today, but here we go. Brian Smith racing on the outside of Vincent Loria. Little side-by-side behind him with Harper and Brzezowski. They run wheel to wheel. Brzezowski wins that lap between the two of them, but Harper leads the battle into turn number 1 as they chase the 30 car of Ryan Patty. Whoa, and Brian Smith got a little free maybe, and the 19 really got free. Adam Ball sliding down the racetrack that lap. Here comes Eldred. Here comes the 44 of Clemens to go on by. A half second already for the race lead. Finnegan leads. Smith second. And the first side-by-side has now swapped spots with who's on the inside, who's on the outside. Brzezowski outside, Harper inside. Widener looks on in that 95 car. He's got a front row seat to all of this. The entire battle there in the top 5 and here for 5th. Oh, some blinks there for the 95. It's everybody. Everybody's blinking tonight. Got some Christmas trees on the racetrack. That needs to be our next sponsor. A Christmas tree company. Harper goes up the racetrack there in the center of 1 and 2. He's going to lose that battle for now with Nathan Brzezowski. And there's a caution. Brad Delph in the 72 has got problems. Jacob Smith as well. He's actually the main driver with issues. A lot of damage there on the left front of that car. And so caution number 1 for cause this evening comes out for the 21 of Jacob Smith. Talked about the good start of the race that he had, of course, driving from the very dead last position on the grid through the field to the top 15. And, oh, he's actually going to smack into the 44 car of Clemens in a spin, trying to miss the spinning 72 of Brad Delph. So we'll go back and get another look at things. Brad Delph, the car mainly with issues. And he's going to get helped around by Cody Eldred in the 32 car. That's going to be a cause caution for Eldred, one of the first this season. Just the lap prior to start out. We'll go on board with Brad Delph. Car looked nice and stable. He wasn't far behind that battle in the top 5. Looks like he was running about the 10th spot, maybe 9th. And there's the old school coins, number 32, just getting into him, sending him around. Quick spin. Nothing too crazy, although that will definitely hurt those tires and likely cause him to use an extra set. But this will be just outside of the fuel window for these guys. This might might actually fall within the fuel window. A lot of drivers coming in and pitting as there's the contact from the 32 car of Eldred. This will be right on the edge of that fuel window. This could be a really solid pit stop to make for some of these guys. Come on in now. And Vincent Loria clearly took that note. He comes in for service. Come in now, run to the end of the stage no matter what happens. Not a bad idea. A lot of drivers will still need to pit. So it'll be Thompson the first off the pit lane in 11th, and then Gladulich, Hersey, Loria. Harper comes in this time around. Purcell, Eldred, and Tuck all pit. Jacob Smith now in the pit lane, actually exiting the pits, with the damage on that number 21 pretty much fixed up. Of course, there's no fast repairs for these guys, so we don't have to worry about tracking whether or not somebody has used their fast repair. It's all just repairs these guys can make under caution. I'm pretty surprised, actually, that Smith's car looks as good as it does after that hit. For a moment there, it simulated the damage as having completely ripped the front bumper of that car off the race car. But it's back, the car looks good, and we're set to go back racing in a lap's time. Nathan Finnegan inside, Brian Smith outside. 64 laps complete. We'll have 135 to go in the race when we go back green flag racing. That's not right. 125 maybe? Not 35, hang on. 175, there we go. I was just 50 off. 175 laps to go when we go back green flag racing here in just a moment. Finnegan gonna bring us back around into the Geico restart zone and back green flag racing on a short track. It's Richmond Raceway, we're back green. Watch Brian Smith on this restart. He gets the back end of Finnegan down the back straightaway and is challenging for the race lead now on lap 66. Finnegan's got to be thinking to himself, man, this guy just can't get enough wins. Goes out here and tries to ruin a perfect day. And, oh, Brian Smith got real free that time, so he pulls off of the 6 car a little bit. And that gives the 6 of Finnegan a little bit of breathing room. To the sun setting behind turn number 3. Beautiful scenic views here. Including this one from Ryan Patty. A solid spot so far for him running 4th, although he would like to get that 3rd spot back from the 77, and just like clockwork, he will move to the inside of Brzezowski after a moment there out of turn 2 and take the 3rd spot right back away. How about that? Widener in the top 5, and the first car on new tires, well, on fuel rather, not tires, but on fuel, is Timothy Harper. So those guys who did pit, they all took fuel only. Nobody under that caution took tires. Logan Romney back on the racetrack. Zach Lucky, by the way, has dropped out of this race. I believe he has made the playoffs now just by starting this evening, but has dropped out of the race after it looks like connection issues took him out. Up front, 75 or 70 laps complete. I am all over myself tonight. Jeez. The field worked down the back stretch. One car got the wall. That was the 77 of Brzezowski. Everybody else looks clean and off the wall until Tiseo there towards the back of the field. And turn 4 looks pretty clean as well as they race by us there on the front stretch. Brian Smith still trying to work up to Nathan Finnegan. This is for the lead position. little bit deeper. The battle for fourth is starting to get going. Charlie Widener pulling up on Nathan Brzezowski. Kevin Gunther is there. How about Evan Patinko and Timothy Harper? Harper going to look to the outside here in 1 and 2. The sun blinding there out of turn 2. And this is also where you find Vincent Loria in the 67. He pitted under that caution, so these are the top drivers that pitted, and we know are good to the end on fuel. The end of the stage, that is. The rest of these guys might be able to save enough fuel. Of course, they have the caution to save a couple of laps at least. Side by side, Harper and Loria. This is for 10th position. Loria, of course, was running much higher than Harper earlier in this race, was battling for second, in fact, with Brian Smith. Now that he's not on the 78 car's back end, Smith has been able to focus on just chasing the race lead and has stayed very close with Finnegan. Just close enough to be something worth talking about, not close enough yet to go to. Loria here to the inside of Patinko. And that'll be a pass nearly completed for Loria. This time out of turn 2, it will be completed. He wiggles on by the 96 car, who gets crossed up by the 12 of Harper. Patinko just says, all right, guys, have your fun. I'll slot in line in 11th and do my thing. Pretty smart move there out of Patinko to just let them have it for the time being, as you see Purcell and Thompson fight right behind. Whoa, one car way down low. Is that Clemens? It is. He's been in the outside wall at some point. He gets back in line here alongside Harper. And now Patinko, and he is going backwards in a hurry still. Problem there for the 44 car as he works now down the back straightaway. It looks like he's getting back up to speed. Locked into the playoffs after last week. And he'll fall back a spot to the 12th position behind Brad Delph, who's got that left side damage. Purcell now looks to the inside of the KU Motorsports 44 car and will just about take that spot away. You know, Kyle Purcell came into this race not really expecting anything, said he's just kind of here to be here. But he's running pretty solid, nearly to the top 10, 12th spot, not so bad. I think anything top 15 or better is a pretty solid day here in the Icon Cup Series. There's a lot of guys that can run solid at any given time. So I'd say really anything top 16 or better, anything that would put you inside the playoffs if this was a one-race playoff, if that makes any sense. I think that's something to be proud of. Anything inside the top 16. Brad Delph, a block here on Kyle Purcell. They battle for 11th. They get 10th with Patinko. Lockett's back on the racetrack. He is some 19 laps down. Logan Romney's 4 laps down and back racing as Vincent Loria and Adam Ball do battle. Loria goes on by Adam Ball in the 19 car. Adam Ball has seen some really cool paint schemes as of late. This newest one, a black and green axial Chevrolet Camaro, racing stripes there on the hood and roof. I really do like the look that he's got going on, and from Collar City Racing, we always see some good paint schemes on those race cars. In fact, those are tire tracks, I think, that are acting as racing stripes. Yes, wow, that's clever. I like that. So black and green look is working for him. Nathan Brzezowski, though, has sported the same Premier Security Chevrolet all season long. Of course, his father works over at Spire Motorsports. So he's a big fan of anything Spire, and in this case, Carson Hocevar. Hocevar has had a very similar looking 77 through his NASCAR Cup Series career, getting started this year. Charlie Widener has sported that same number 95 all season long, as Evan Patinko is under fire here from Brad Delph. And Delph has sported a couple of M&M paint schemes this season. Tonight, though, opting to go back to the Snap Fitness Ford Mustang. Gets a little free there off to the second corner, and will fall back just a little bit as Purcell, oh no, I'm so sorry, Kyle. I don't know where that one came from. Purcell is under fire from Smith. I thought Smith right in the middle of saying Purcell, and oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Kyle. Well, that was said, and Smith slots back in line behind the 0-1 car. Kevin Gunther's on the move in the 31 car. Recently got a tooth fixed, and let everybody know about it in the Icon Cup Series Discord channel. I think he's smiling right now as he pulls up on the 95 car and is trying to break into the top 5. That would be a stage point if he's able to do so and stay there for the next 51 laps. So watch for the 31 car here on a solid run so far. You know, it was funny, Kevin Gunther used that picture of him smiling with his tooth getting fixed. I wanted to use that as his driver photo. Well, we don't have it in here, Kevin, I'm sorry, but I love the enthusiasm for sure as he gets a little free there onto turn 4. Oh, Charlie Widener checked up big time there in the center of the corner, nearly bunched them up, and here we go. Here's Loria to the inside, spoiling the party for Kevin. Loria going to move on by for 6th position. Pass isn't quite complete just yet. Now it is. So Loria moves on by as they race through turns 3 and 4. Look at the sun going down behind the speedway. A beautiful sunset here at Richmond. You see the field working around this place like a conveyor belt. Nice battle here from the blimp cam. Watching them pass Logan Romney in the 42 car. Patinko, Delph, Purcell, then Smith, Clemens, and Thompson. All in a line here, trying to chase the 96 car and pass him to break into the top 10. And in the NASCAR Cup Series, the top 10 would be a stage point. But that's not quite the case here in the Icon Cup Series. Things are a little bit different. And they pay stage points to just the top 5. I believe it's still 10 for the stage winner, then I believe 8. I forget the actual scale. I'll have to look that back up, but regardless, might just be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, in the wall there was Purcell and a bobble out of Delph at the same time, but Delph now to the inside of Evan Patinko has got position on the inside. Slips up a little bit out of the corner, and now under fire from the Toyota Camry of Kyle Purcell and Chicagoland Racing. Patinko goes back up the racetrack there. Delph nearly drives into him. He does, just making a little bit of contact. Both cars are okay as Purcell is now under fire. And oh, Delph sends it into turn 3. Just about left rears the 96 car of Patinko. Nearly wiped him out. Thankfully, no contact, at least not much. As Purcell tries to hang on to the 12th position, Delph backs up that time out of the corner. Just go on board with Jacob Smith and watch this all. A shot there to Kyle Purcell out of the corner. Jacob saying, let's go. Want to keep going forward. I talked with Jacob Smith and a couple of other drivers after California a week ago and asked him, what exactly are your allegiances? Well, he doesn't really have one. It's not really with Outback Motorsports, which is what I thought at first and what we put down on the spreadsheet. It's not really with Outback Motorsports. If anything, he actually aligns with those guys over at KE Motorsports. Anthony DeSeo, Josh Clemens, Vincent Loria. And oh, that was a shot. So Jacob Smith kind of floats around a little bit, but tends to align with those guys, including Clemens right behind him. Kind of interesting. He's got a bit of a floating personality as there's a big slide out of Patinko. He goes all the way down the racetrack, and that opens the door now for Purcell to go by. Delph all the way up the racetrack, going to open the door as well for Purcell to go by. So Kyle Purcell might get a 2-for-1 here in the same lap. He logs in behind the 72 car. And Smith just charges up the racetrack in front of the 96 of Patinko and will complete that pass just barely. So Patinko losing 3 in a lap. Up front, you're not missing a thing with 40 to go in the stage. This is the best racing on the racetrack by far. Nathan Finnegan still leads, then it's Smith, Patty, Brzezowski, and Loria, your top 5. You see Clemens and Patinko side by side. Whoa, Clemens up the racetrack into Patinko. He's got to start to use the middle lane as Smith and Purcell get side by side down the back stretch. Purcell goes way up high. And is going to have a run here. Does he try to go to the inside or does he stay in line behind the 21? He stays in line. I see Sean Purcell checking in over on YouTube. Sean, where the heck are you today? I want to give a big nod to our partners here with Pit Stop TV, of course, Whiplash SimCam's longtime partner. That's the cameras that you see bringing you the feed of this race. ATVO bringing you the graphics on screen. CC's Business bringing us the good smells here at Broadcast HQ, and Cody Williams Design making us look good going fast. We continue to watch this battle from 10th on back. Brad Delph now in the 10th position. Jacob Smith wants it. Kyle Purcell runs 12th. Josh Clemens 13th. Evan Patinko was sunk back to 14th spot with, that's Thomas, not Thomas. Cameron Thompson pulling up in the 7 car. Whoa, Smith, real free down the back straightaway, gonna slide in behind the 01. Loses everything he's worked for the last few laps, falls back to the 12th spot now. As these drivers will lap the 42 car one more time, put him 6 laps down. He's still got a lot of damage, and it looks like there's been a problem now for the 57 of Thomas Taylor as, oh my gosh, Romney hits the end of the pit wall again. This time under green, no caution. Thomas Taylor recently with a problem. Let's see maybe what happened to him. This is at a turn 2, just comes down the pit lane, it looks like maybe. Taylor not really in contention for the playoffs this season. It would take a win to get him in. But I think he knows that. So he comes in and parks the car and has left the speedway, it looks like. Once again, that fight with Brad Delph, Kyle Purcell and company is heating up. Purcell working now on the 72 car of Delph. They've actually spread out a little bit since I said that. So Cameron Thompson, Evan Patinko, that's our next closest fight on the racetrack as we work lap 111, 30 to go. In fact, 31 to go in stage number 2. This is a difficult place to go race for these guys. The track is just so tricky. The car is on edge everywhere you go. You've really got to wait on the throttle, and Nathan Finnegan, man, he has been the best at it. Works here on lap traffic, Eric Smith and Stephen Tuck. Checks up a little bit for these guys, but has a 2.7 second lead. Stephen Tuck goes up and hits the outside wall, and you could hear there into the corner, the 6 put the clutch in. I don't know if he's doing that in every corner, but he put the clutch in there and just saved behind those guys. And yes, clutch is in. You see RPMs drop to about 2,000. So he's trying to save fuel here and make it to the end of stage number 2. Clutch is in again. It'll be easier to watch on the tack. Watch on the digital dash there. Clutch in. He is saving big time right now, so this could open things up for Vincent Loria, who doesn't have to worry about fuel. In fact, Brian Smith has now slid back to the 3rd spot. Ryan Patty is on his way. Smith into the corner, clutches in. Rolling, coasting around the corner, trying to save gas. Patty, it looks like, is not on that same strategy. He's in 4th gear. He's going to have to pit. I think he's okay with that. So watch for Vincent Loria now in this stage as he's worked by Kevin Gunther and Charlie Widener. He hasn't gone much further. Of course, he didn't take tires that pit stop. It was fuel only for him, but he is now good on fuel to the end. So he should be able to race past these guys and get himself some stage points. Of course, he is 5th, so he would get 1 stage point right now. But if he's able to go and get some extras, that would be really big for the 67 car to get just that little bit of extra points. Granted, he doesn't really need them, so he's kind of just racing for stage wins and playoff points. He is closed in on the race leader by a decent margin. Finnegan is down to a 2-second race lead over Ryan Patty. And Loria is closed in by a little over a second. There's Finnegan. Patty about 2 seconds back. You see, Finnegan has actually lost a lot of time to Eric Smith, and now Patty slows down. Clemens is in the pit lane. Patty doesn't seem to be saving, although he is into 5th gear now. Maybe he's realized the fuel situation. Oh, he's shutting the car off entirely. Car is shut off there, so he's realized the fuel situation. Clutch in, car off. Impressive. That's a lot to manage. We'll check in with Brzezowski here, who does not seem to be saving. He's down to 4th gear on the corner, so he's not saving. Kevin Gunther has now been passed up by Timothy Harper, who's good on fuel. Maybe the 31 car is starting to realize he's got to save some fuel too. He does stay in 5th gear, but he isn't putting the clutch in. Meanwhile, Kyle Purcell has gone by Brad Delth. A lot is going on here at Richmond Raceway with less than 20 laps to go, and there you see, car off again for the 6 car leading this race. Purcell now has broken into the top 10, getting by Brad Delph. And again, we're going to the completion of lap 141. Loria is closing in big time, guys. He has really caught up. He's on to the back end now of Nathan Brzezowski almost. So these guys with fuel, now that the run has gone green, are starting to really shine. Brad Delph to the pit lane. Clemens took fuel. He looks like he was down for fuel only and right back out. It's a 1.6 second lead now for Finnegan over Smith. It varies a little bit, now down to 1.9, actually up to 1.9. And Loria has caught up to Brzezowski. If these guys start dropping like flies for fuel, or if they just keep going this slow, I think Loria might be able to pass. I mean, these tires are old at this point, worn out. But if he's able to muscle away by the 77 car, I mean, these guys are still going to get stage points if they let him go. As long as they stay ahead of Harper, and there we go. The 77 lets Loria go by on the inside. You see the 30 slowing down. The lights are on here at Richmond, and fuel saving is happening on a short track. Loria goes by Patty. And look at this 3 wide off the corner. Harper has caught up and goes right on by. Wow, Widener goes by. Widener short on fuel. Go back to the Whiplash SimCam's race details, right? I mean, these guys are expecting 75 to 80 laps to a tank. They are working on going wire to wire in the stage, about 90 laps. It's a lot of laps to save, but they're giving it their all. Finnegan leading the race is now up to a 2.7 second lead, but he's been saving about the hardest as he now works up on Eric Smith. Loria now into 3rd spot. Is going to look to pass the 78 of Brian Smith, who has been hard saving lately. Can Loria maybe in 10 laps make up the 3 seconds up to Finnegan and go by for the stage win? Boy, wouldn't that be something. And we expect pit stops here very, very soon. Of course, these guys were able to save under the caution, so they probably need to make up about 6 laps under green. Gunther is saving big time. He doesn't want to pit, doesn't want to lose that lap. This is the box these guys are in, because if they pit, they lose a lap. But if they save hard enough, they might lose a lap anyways. It's a really interesting box to be in as Loria moves to the inside of Brian Smith here to turn number 1. Harper is closing. And, oh, Smith hits the 67. Just drives him up the racetrack there out of turn number 2. Loria's going to get away. Brian Smith into the corner, still putting the clutch in, saving fuel, rolling through the corner. And here comes Harper. So Harper goes on by, and Ryan Patty has really checked up big time. He is down behind Charlie Widener, who moves into the top 5 for a stage point. Here comes Purcell. Oh, Purcell took fuel, so this is going to be a big stage for Purcell if he can get up there and get some stage points maybe from Widener. Let's see, Patinko now on the pit lane. He didn't take fuel. So he's going to have to come in, and does. And now for the stage win, it's all whether or not Vincent Loria can make up 2.5 seconds on Nathan Finnegan. Finnegan is saving fuel, and this time by, it'll be 5 laps to go in the stage. Loria's got enough to the end. He can push all he needs to What a weird stage, funky stage. We had the one caution there at the perfect time to make this a fuel strategy race to the end of the stage. By the way, Brian Smith is now down to the 4th spot, and you see Patinko rejoining the racetrack. He is 2 laps down. He's going to need to use those tires. He did 2 tires and back on the racetrack. He's going to need to use those tires for everything they've got and get back to 1 lap down if he wants to stay in this race. If he goes 2 laps down, he's done. Brzezowski had to pit. He's a lap down. He took 2 in fuel. Ryan Patty had to pit. There he is. 2 tires. He's going to go for all 4. He's going to go 1, maybe 2 laps down. There he goes now out of the pit lane. Where's the race leader? Nathan Finnegan. There he is. And Finnegan nearly puts the 30 a lap down, but those 4 tires will kick in. Harper gets a little free racing with Loria. You see Gunther had to pit. Brian Smith working on saving all the way. 2 laps to go in stage 2. Finnegan has saved all this fuel. He knew the game from the get-go. And just the top 10 now remain on the lead lap. That is Nathan Finnegan, Vincent Loria, Timothy Harper, then Kyle Purcell and Brian Smith, then Jacob Smith, Cameron Thompson, Jacob Gladgelich, Cody Eldred, and Brock Hersey. Of that group of drivers, only 2 stopped at the caution. Or did not stop at the caution. And those are Finnegan and Smith. Final lap now of stage 2. Oh, and they're crashing! Patinko in the wall hard, trying to get by the slow 79 car. But Nathan Finnegan will exit turn number 4 and sweep the stages at Richmond. Nearly out of fuel, cautions out. Loria, Harper, Purcell, and Smith hang on for stage points. What a stage. And we get to do it again. This next stage is a little bit longer, 99 total laps. If we get a caution place like that again, we're going to have another big-time fuel-saving kind of stage. It'll be very interesting. So here we go, pit stops again. And uh-oh, Brian Smith had to pit a lap early. That's going to be a closed pit lane penalty for him. The rest of the field comes on down the pit lane this time. You see Finnegan, Loria, Harper, Purcell, Smith, Thompson, Gladgelich, Eldred, and Hersey. Brock Hersey in the top 10 at the end of that stage. And so we await the race off pit lane. It should be Finnegan down and away easily first, then Loria, and it will be. Then Purcell, or rather Harper, then Purcell. Purcell exits 4th, Jacob Smith 5th. Thompson and Gladgelich race off the pit lane. Thompson will win it. Then Eldred and Hersey. Brzezowski is our lucky dog. He gets a lap back and will have to come in and take more service. Letting some cars go by before he comes in. But Nathan Finnegan, our stage winner for the 2nd time this evening, will dial up 2nd place as we usually do when there is a stage sweep. It'll be Vincent Loria who goes 2nd in the stage. You had to watch the 6 cross the start-finish line first there on lap 141 rather. Couldn't quite get there. If there were a couple more laps, do you think you got up for the stage?
Well, a couple more laps, you would have been out of fuel. So definitely, yeah, if there was a couple more, I would have been there. There was nothing I could do. I added over 1.25 gallons or something to my tank on that final pit stop, and I couldn't. I had 0.2, I think, when I came in, so I have no idea how these guys made it, but good for them.
I know some were shutting the car off completely.
Yeah, I mean, he said he was clutching it. I I don't know. I tried clutching it a couple times, almost wrecked the car, so I decided to give up on that strategy. But we'll see how it goes here. I mean, the clean air seems to be the thing that you want, so I think I'm going to be pretty aggressive here on this restart. You know, hopefully not cause a caution or wreck anyone, but he's led, I think, every lap so far, so I'm going to try my best to change that here on this final, you know, stage restart.
Yeah, so a really smart pit call out of you to pit under that last caution we had, and it brings up a handful of other players with you. Are you concerned at all about the 12 car behind you, considering you're going to be on the outside for this restart more than likely?
No, it should be fine. I'll just fly it in there, try to arc the corner and get a good exit, and hopefully have him cleared by 3. I'm really hoping I get a good jump here. I mean, I don't have anything for Nathan if he's in front of me, I can tell you that. So yeah, he's going to have to pass me for the win if I want to have a chance at it. I don't know if it's dirty air or what, but I just cannot. I can't get to him. Neither can Brian or Ryan. So this one should be get pretty interesting near the end.
Vincent Loria going to restart second. Best of luck.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Move Loria back down, and he will give it another shot. It'll be interesting to watch this restart to the end here of the race now. 93 laps when we take the green flag after that caution period. Nathan Finnegan on the inside, going for 3 Richmond wins in a row, is going to restart and get us back green at Richmond Raceway. Loria and Harper side by side for second spot. Harper's going to win the race off the corner, it looks like, and take second spot, at least at the stripe. They stay side by side down to the first corner. And there goes Vincent Loria, a little sideways. And we know, oh my gosh, 3 wide. Here we go. Smith to the inside. Thompson goes. You see Clemens in the background. But Loria loses all of that ground. He falls all the way back to 5th. Now Thompson gets sideways. The 7 nearly wipes out the 67. They just hold it together. Now Brian Smith is going to crash. Big, big accident on the front straightaway. Wow. Vincent Loria had the mistake, then it was Cameron Thompson. And now Brian Smith, who's looked so invincible this season. So invincible. 10 wins this year. Out of turn number 4. Oh, Stephen Tuck moved down the racetrack when all of that happened and just clipped the 78. Boom, Teseo drives into it. Wow. That's going to wipe out the 78 for the most part. Watch the 10 car here, Stephen Tuck. The Bass Pro colors. He's going to flinch down. Eldred checked up big time. Tuck cut the wheel hard, and that sends a 78 down the racetrack and then back up as he got hooked around. Zach Lockett, just wrong place, wrong time, gets involved in it. DeSeo smashes into the 93. Ryan Patty just gets by with a bit of contact, and then Eric Smith nowhere to go in the very back of the field. Kevin Gunther is able to check up in time. On board with DeSeo. And now with the 79 car of Eric Smith, he ends up getting into his nephew here, Brian Smith, when it's all said and done. Boom, contact, and that's a bad day for Outback Motorsports all of a sudden. Oh, we'll dial up another driver into this caution. Timothy Harper worked up to second spot on that restart. Very, very strong restart, working on the inside of Vincent Loria. But Timmy, do you have anything for that 6 car?
I don't know. I don't know what my car feels like in clean air. Maybe I'll get a little clean air here and we'll see what we can do. I was hoping it would stay green there. Me and the 6 had a pretty good lead over 3rd with that with Vincent getting loose. So, but we'll see. It'll be a gas saving game too. So.
Yeah, we know these guys, well, you guys can go about 90 laps. We saw that there in stage 2. That's with a lot of saving, though. Have you tried saving yet? I mean, you played a really smart pit call the last stage. You came in and topped off. You're not topping off out of this caution. Can you save like they do?
I don't know. It's hard for me to save. I didn't really try to save fuel since I pitted that last time, but I was right around the same fuel as Finnegan was. I just saved my tires and thought I was going to catch Vincent in the long run. Thought I had a good shot at the stage win, but it didn't work out. I didn't think the 6 could save that much fuel, but he did.
And you're one of just a few short track winners this season. You won back at Bristol in the spring. If this thing gets down to a short run, do you think you use the short track muscle, and can you get by the 6 car or anybody else to get this race win?
I think I can at least finish top 5. I think I have the car to do it. It's just a tire saving game. See who can save the most tires and see who can be out there at the end. And if a caution comes out, it just a bunch of strategies that could go wrong. So.
Well, best of luck here on the restart.
Appreciate you.
Finley Harper running 2nd spot, coming to the restart this time around. Pace car lights have been extinguished. Cars that stopped under this caution, it's going to become important. Cody Eldred, Kevin Gunther, Cameron Thompson, Brad Delph, Ryan Patty. Restart on the way. 85 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. I'm really surprised we didn't see more takers, but we'll see how this one works out. Oh, Harper, I think, got the outside wall that time. He falls back now to Jacob Smith, side by side for 2nd spot. Loria just behind, making it a race for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Ooh, Smith nearly gets into Harper. 3 Fords racing here in the top 5. Harper way up the racetrack, comes back down. Smith is going to get free and lose it down the racetrack. He comes back on the racetrack right behind Purcell. And that is a couple of laps from the restart. Man. Cameron Thompson, one of those cars that pitted out of that caution along with Cody Eldred. Eldred is going to be one to watch. He's got some of the most fuel in the car on the racetrack, and I really question why more drivers did not pit there. Ryan Patty, he also pitted. In fact, he even took 2 tires. I don't know if this thing goes green, as it may not, as Gunther's going to go for a spin. He is not collected. What a job by everybody to keep this race green flag. Brian Smith was losing it there on the bottom. Now we've got a spinner. Now a caution's out. And now this comes out with just about 80 to go. Everybody can come in and top off on fuel. Patinko is around. Already 2 laps down, and problems again for the 96 car here at Richmond. He was able to just get by Kevin Gunther with his moment. See him working there to the inside of Cameron Thompson, 2 laps down as it was. Trying to drive back through the field and maybe get a lap back. Got free on exit. Goes for a spin. Oh no, Brian Smith just had a problem. I think I know what happened. On board with him here. Decides to pit, trying to bring the car down. Last minute decided not to, ends up hitting the barrels. Not a mistake I would have expected from a 10-time winner, but when a race comes unraveled, a race comes unraveled. Boy, does it ever. Jacob Smith that time playing the pit game. And here we go. Everybody behind third place is going to come on in, it looks like, and top off. This is the move I would make. If I'm Gunther, Loria, any of these guys, this is the move I would make. And Gunther actually is coming in a lap late, so I thought that was a lap late for them to be pitting. And sure enough, Loria topped off on gas. So Loria's going to have a fresh fuel tank, but no tires taken. He's saving them there for the end. And there is definitely something to be said for doing exactly what the 6 car does. Finnegan has been the best here tonight. We'll see if his strategy is able to get him to the end here, but he's going to bring us around under caution and back to, I believe, 1 to green this time by. And it will not be 1 to green just yet. So let's go back to point standings and talk about the point situation. Brock Hersey comes into tonight with 27 points to the cut line, has had a great day so far, has been inside the top 10 recently, has kept it in on the lead lap, which is important. A solid day so far if you are Brock Hersey, which it has not always been that way. Brad Delph needs to get a win at this point, 27 points down. Patinko needs a win. Neal needs a win. Neal's not even here. DeSeo, Fist, Lewin, Tuck, Taylor, they all need a win at this point. There's no pointing your way in now unless you got a bunch of stage points, and these guys didn't. So, Brad Delph, gonna need to win this race or next week at Michigan if he wants to go to the playoffs and fight for a championship. Otherwise, you are looking at your top 16 and your playoff field. Gunther and Lockett should lock in just by being here. Purcell, ooh, he's going to be close to the cut line next week after missing this week. But he should still be okay. Eldred should just about lock in after this week. And we're about to go back racing. So Finnegan, Purcell, Smith, Loria, and Gladulich, your top 5. A lot of cars took tires. Green flag is back out at Richmond. Loria fires to the inside of Jacob Smith here down the back straightaway. And hello, Ryan Patty moving up. He gets by the 0-1 car. Ryan Patty is hungry for another race win. And a pickle. God, I love that paint scheme. Loria to the inside of Smith there in 1 and 2. Not able to do anything with it. By the way, Brzezowski, who got the lucky dog recently, he is now 2 laps down. He's had some problems. He joins a field of several cars that are 2 laps down, and several are a lap down as a caution is back out. Cameron Thompson, Jacob Gladulich this time. Oh boy, cautions breed cautions. Watch the 7 here of Cameron Thompson. Trying to make a pass here on Jacob Gladulich. Comes up a little too far, just wasn't clear. And gets hooked around. Adam Ball gets a big piece of that. Thankfully, Adam is locked into the playoffs. He doesn't have to worry about this. So a pretty cut and dry caution. We will work now down to 70 laps to go or so under this yellow. Gladulich also comes into the pit lane. You see Cameron Thompson right behind him. A lot of damage to that 7 car. And the leaders will stay out. We do have some pitters. but a lot of the field stays out under this yellow. We'll go pit stop TV side by side and be right back for the restart. Welcome back to the virtual Richmond Raceway. Restart on the way for these drivers. There you go. Restart zone. Green flag is back out. And a big checkup, and Loria's going to come up and take out the field. Oh my gosh. Vincent Loria takes out Kevin Gunther and Timothy Harper. There is a mess all over the front stretch. Oh man, as soon as we come back from a break, literally the instant we come back from a break, problems here. The 67 just absolutely mess up the restart, hit a bump, overcorrects, and wipes out the 31 and the 12. Unbelievable scenes at Richmond Raceway. Let's try and diagnose what happened here to the 67. Six checked up, and Loria launched in first gear, and that was a bad idea. Then hit the bump, and the racetrack he goes. That was a big hit for Gunther and Harper. Watch this one in slow-mo. See the restart mishap initially? The bump, the overcorrection. Cody Eldred is very lucky to be in this race after this. Wow. For the 32 car on the restart. Wow. Unbelievable. We'll go to Kevin Gunther's on board and then come back to live picture. Gunther already 2 laps down. It looks like he's going to be out of this race, thankfully. He should be locked into the playoffs now just by starting this one. He buzzed the tires too, and then right there, boom, big hit. Harper's involved. We'd spoken with Loria and with Harper, and they're now both out of this race. Gunther's going to give it a shot. He's towed. No, actually towed it. I think he drove it back. But he is some 2 laps down. Harper's still in the pit lane. He's smashed up. And Loria now comes in for service. Well, the field is doing their absolute best not to win this race in some cases. Oh man, that was so unfortunate. I have not seen a restart issue like that in a long time. Jacob Smith, though, Ryan Patty, all these guys going to try and give it their best. Ryan Patty might be one to watch on this restart. He's got some newer tires. Brad Delph, of course, is there as well. But Nathan Finnegan still in control of this race. Kyle Purcell is now in the top 5. Adam Ball is there in 6th. Jacob Gladgelich, Joshua Clemens. How about Brock Hersey in the 9th spot? Trying to get through this race, go through the motions, and stay in the playoffs. Waiting on the green flag, and green flag is back out at Richmond, a little over 60 laps to go. Ryan Patty straight through to 2nd on the restart. It's Finnegan, Patty, and Smith. Whoa! Ryan Patty gets sent into the corner, it looks like, by the 21 car. He's still trying to catch the car. Finally does. Purcell goes by. And now we'll lose the 2nd spot right back away to Jacob Smith. Was there contact? I want to find out. On board of the 21. And yes, the 30 got sent there by just a little bit. Well, he takes over 2nd spot. Jacob Smith does. Patty falls back to 5th, and what was a really good restart for the 30 car comes unraveled, comes undone. And at this point, I think these guys might be good on fuel. The caution numbers really are helping them out to stay on the racetrack. To Seo in the wall in the background, that will not bring out a caution flag. And so we stay green flag. Whoa! Brad Delph hard in the outside wall. No caution yet. I don't think we're going to get one. He's going to try and wrestle that car to the inside of the racetrack and come down and make a lap around. Let's see what happened to him. Just overcorrected and boom, outside wall. It was a little free. All the way into the corner. That car was stepping out, stepping out, stepping out. Give it one too many swipes to the right, and it just took off on him. They'll now bring that car in for service, and there's a caution. I actually don't know what the caution's for. This might be it. Zach Lockett for a spin. He is some 21 laps down, comes to a stop. And that saves Brad Delph a little bit, but I think Delph is going to take a while in the pit lane, and that might be his playoff hopes dashed. So with Delph in the pit lane, this really simplifies things. Patinko has had a bad day. Delph has had a bad day. In fact, I'm surprised Patinko's still in this race. Where is he? He is 15th now. Brad Delph now down to 17th and losing laps. Brock Hersey's had a decent day. No stage points for the 24 car just yet. At least not this evening. We'll see if he can get some next week at Michigan, maybe. Delph will leave the pit lane. He's not completely done, but he is 2 laps down, just like Patinko. And this race gets more and more interesting. Well, if you like what you see so far this evening, make sure to drop a like here on YouTube or on Facebook, wherever you're watching from. Make sure to support Pit Stop TV and check out our social media channels. Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and X. Next up for Pit Stop, we head out to the Eldora Speedway with the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. We'll go racing on the dirt with the NASCAR Cup Series cars. Then a week from today, it's the playoff cutoff race. We will set our playoff field next week at Michigan. It looks decided, but you simply never know, especially at somewhere like Michigan. We could have a surprise winner. We could send somebody to victory lane and to the playoffs. And of course, then Tuesday, the day, or not day after, but a couple of days after we go to Michigan, we'll go to Chicagoland in one of the final regular season races for the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. That should be a lot of fun. Pace car lights still on. An opportunity then to thank our partners here at Pit Stop TV, Whiplash Simcams, ATVO, and CC's Business, all helping us get to and from the racetrack. And of course, there's that brand new logo down at the bottom, Cody Williams Design, helping us look good, go fast, and everything in between. Of course, when you look good, you feel good, and you feel good, you race good. So rev up your style with Cody Williams Design. Check out some of the race info. We've had 8 cautions now for a little over 40 laps, only 2 lead changes, and I can't really recall, actually, a moment where the lead changed hands. But apparently there's been a couple of times where somebody else has led a lap other than Nathan Finnegan, but Finnegan has led 187 of 189 that have been completed so far this evening. With this restart, Brian Smith will be back on the lead lap down in the 13th position. And we'll be back green flag with 50 laps to go. A late restart out of Finnegan, but he's going to win the restart and the race out of turn 1. Side by side for second. Purcell on the inside. That's Smith outside, and Ryan Patty sitting right behind. Oh, Purcell sweeps up into the 21 car. Smith is going to go for a spin. Caution is out again here at Richmond. Caution number 9. Gonna help some of these guys who got a couple of laps behind get back into this race. This time it'll be Brzezowski who gets a lap back. We saw the moment, but let's watch it again from the hands of Kyle Purcell. Just got free into the corner. Up the racetrack he went, collected the 21, and sent the 21 car for a bit of a slide and spin. It wasn't much of anything really for Smith. He didn't get the wall very hard at all, but he will ding up the right front of that race car. It's not the first time he's had trouble this evening, but he'll come in for service and try to repair that race car. Boy, this race just keeps on changing. Well, let's talk with driver 24, who's got a little bit of pressure on him, admittedly. We'll dial up driver 24, Brock Hersey. And Brock, this race is looking to go your way so far this evening. You've got 27 points to the cutoff line coming in. Delph and Batinko have had some bad luck today. You sit pretty in 8th spot right now in the top 10 on the lead lap. But how does the car feel? Do you think you can get some more spots?
Hey, Andrew. How you doing? Yeah, that's the plan. I came into this race trying to stay clean and just do what I could because it's Richmond, so you know it's probably going to be a show. But yeah, I feel like I have the speed to maybe get up close to 5th or 6th. We'll see what happens here.
Does this mean maybe that some of the short tracks in the playoffs might suit your liking to where you can run a little bit deeper into the playoffs than maybe some drivers are expecting you to?
I mean, anything's possible. I mean, get on the track, you never know what's going to happen, but that's always the goal. I don't really like short tracks myself per se, but I can't argue with tonight's result so far, but still got to close it out.
In Michigan next week, do you think maybe if you can't get it done tonight, maybe you can go and get a wild card win next week and just officially confirm yourself, maybe move up the playoff rankings a little bit?
You never know. I'm not really a big fan of, I didn't really like California last week. Momentum tracks aren't really my favorites either, but I actually felt like I did run good last week, and it's kind of the same track, so yeah, it's possible.
Would certainly lift off that pressure for you with the cutoff line. I mean, is there any pressure still, or has that pressure already lifted? You have a decent cushion back there to the next spot. Of course, those guys having bad days. Is the pressure lifting at all?
I really never have pressure. I just try to come out here and have fun and do what I can, but I mean, with the two of them getting in trouble at night, yeah, if there was any pressure, it's definitely not there right now. It's just make some laps, have fun.
Well, Brock, it's been a while. Good to talk to you again. Best of luck here on the restart as you restart 8th.
Thanks, Andrew.
Brock Hersey going to bring us back to the green flag in the 8th position. Solid day going for the 24 car so far. He's just a likable guy, I feel like. Has been very, very quiet. And has himself a solid result in the works. See the field working down the front straightaway. Back straightaway, of course. I don't know where I got front stretch from. Working down the back straightaway. And to the Geico restart zone. We're going to have just over 40 laps to go. In fact, 43 at the drop of the green. Green flag is back out at Richmond Raceway. One lap complete off of the restart. 3 wide, right behind the race leaders, down to turn 1. Loria on the inside, Adam Ball and Josh Clemens on the outside. Brian Smith is going to fire on through. The 67 and 78 somehow aren't done yet, but the 10 car is going to go for a slide, and Steven Tuck just hangs on to things. The 78 works into 6th. I really thought his day was done earlier, but clearly it's not done just yet. He is coming back and with a vengeance. Vincent Loria, after his mistake, is somehow still in this race, although the 2 cars he made contact with are not so much in things. Gunther's 11 laps down, and Timothy Harper is out of this race. Loria, though, looks to the inside for 3rd. And Ryan Patty has taken over 2nd spot away from Jacob Gladulich as Jacob Smith has problems. He's in the wall. .39 laps to go. Loria's just about got Gladulich clear. Not quite this time, maybe the next. Oh, Gladulich is going to wad up the 78 down the back straightaway. Brian Smith in the wall with the 14, and somehow we stay green. The 14 got loose, came down and got the 78. Wow. How we're still green, I have no clue. Gladulich way up the hill that time. Oh, and Brock Hersey's in trouble. Oh, no. We just talked to him. Apparently talking to me tonight is a bad thing. Kyle Purcell going to tip the 24 car around. And he gets in the wall. Hersey was just avoiding the slow 14 on the outside, and Purcell, I think, didn't quite get the memo. Ran smack in the left rear of the 24 car. Well, under caution again, this time inside of 40 to go, and it just keeps looking better and better for the 6 car. Brand new paint scheme on that Chevrolet Camaro. Painted by Waylon Turner, one of our own at Pit Stop TV and here in the Icon Cup Series. Runs the 03 car. Kodak Behavioral Health on the side of this number 6 now. So a new group featured on that Chevrolet Camaro, and boy, does this car look good. It just glints perfectly. That metallic blue looks so, so nice. We have some pit stops here under this yellow. You see Cameron Thompson, Brad Delph, and some others in the pit lane. Delph is now 20 laps down. Brock Hersey comes in for service. And Hersey will head back out onto the racetrack with a slightly wounded 24 car. You see the left front still a little bit dinged up there. Well, next up for these guys, they head out to the Michigan International Speedway. You see the full schedule here on your screen. Daytona after that, Darlington the race after, and Atlanta. They make up round number 1 of the Icon Cup Series playoffs, the round of 16. From then on, it's Watkins Glen, the road course, then Bristol and Kansas for round number 2, the round of 12. Then Talladega, Charlotte, and Las Vegas, the round of 8. And finally, a little bit different from NASCAR, we've got a 3-race round of 4. It'll be Miami, Martinsville, and Phoenix. 3 races to crown a champion. The best driver out of those 3 races will win this season's Icon Cup Series championship. Still a long ways from doing so in November, but we are getting closer and closer. Can't stop thinking about it. Nathan Finnegan will lead us back to the green flag once more. He's been out front all night long. Can he go back to back to back at Richmond and get a 3rd win on the season? Well, we're going to find out. Restart is green, and what a restart from the bottom side. And Loria is bringing the fight. He's going to hit the 6th car and take him up the racetrack. Loria to the inside of the 6, the first time the 6 has been challenged all night long. Just taps the door of Finnegan. Here comes Brian Smith on the inside. Loria covers it up. It's 3 wide to the start-finish line. 30 laps to go at Richmond. Finnegan on the very top side trying to get back clear of the 2 on the inside. The 67 falls in behind. The 78 does as well. And Ryan Patty had a problem. He falls back to 5th. What a restart there out of Nathan Finnegan. Well, yeah, out of Nathan Finnegan, Vincent Loria, and Brian Smith. But a big restart from Loria. I'm tripping over names tonight. I apologize. But Loria on the restart got to the back bumper of the 6 car. That time, Finnegan just runs up the racetrack. Loria blinks. Contact down the front straightaway. Loria's leaning on him some more. Finnegan's just trying to get away. Loria's got better tires. Finnegan trying to defend. He'll get back down to the bottom side. And a bump there from Loria. Moves him up the racetrack. Loria's got 7 wins this season. Finnegan's got 2. Finnegan's been on the racetrack the entire time since that caution for the end of Stage 2. Has not pitted yet in Stage 3. Loria's got better tires. He knows it. He's trying to use it. That time he bobbles, goes up the racetrack, and here comes Brian Smith. Seems like week after week we're saying that. Here comes the 78. It's like Jaws. And caution. Jacob Smith in trouble. Eric Smith involved. And this just might save the 6 car. Well, that's unfortunate. We were just about to have some fun. You see here, Jacob Smith just got really free into turn 1. Ends up hip checking the 79 car. 79 goes for a spin. The 21 collects it. The 79 thankfully doesn't collect anybody in this. Everybody able to avoid the spinning Toyota Camry. Been a rough day for Eric Smith, right on the coattails of a really solid finish out at California a week ago where he went top 10. In fact, I believe he finished 9th in the official results. Well, Nathan Finnegan stays on the racetrack. He has kept these tires on this car all stage long. He can't pit now because everybody else would, of course, just stay out. He's already missed his cue to come in and get tires. As we see some pit stops from guys like Bertzowski, who I think just had a hardware failure. Gladjulich. Oh boy, where is Brzezowski going? Whatever just happened, he got it sorted out, it looks like. He'll work down the pit lane and will lose one lap under this caution. Adam Ball sits in the 4th spot. I'd love to know what he's thinking. Let's find out really quick. Let's dial up driver 19, who has a front row seat to everything happening around Nathan Finnegan and for the race lead. Adam, boy, that was interesting on that restart. What did you see?
A whole lot of cars all over the place.
That's a good way to put it. You got a front row seat to whatever's going to happen on this restart between them. Loria, Smith, of course, they're going to be hard chargers here at the end. Your teammate Nathan Finnegan, though, has looked good today. Is there any way maybe that you can get up there and spoil the party?
Only way I'm going to get by them if they all crash out and I sneak on by. I got nothing car-wise to get up there, but we'll see if we can get a top 5 here and bring it home in one piece.
Hey, you're running 4th so far. How about this paint scheme, this new paint scheme as of last week at California? We see the tire track racing stripes. I love that little detail. And tell us about Axial as well.
Yeah, they make rock crawling RC cars. Always loved RC cars for years and years and years, so we ran Team Associated. Now we got these guys on here, so we're just having some fun with some toy cars.
Well, the paint scheme looks really, really good. Again, I love that detail with the tire track racing stripes. That is such a cool little addition there to that gray and green paint scheme. Best of luck here on the restart. We're pulling for you.
Thank you very much.
That's Adam Ball. Going to be coming to the restart in 4th spot. First time talking to him this season. And we're going to have exactly 20 laps to go when we go back green. It's Loria out front, then, not Loria, it's Finnegan out front, then Loria, then Brian Smith, then Adam Ball and Joshua Clemens. 20 laps to go at Richmond Raceway. Green flag is back in the air, a much better restart for Finnegan. All right, now you can cue that Jaws theme. Brian Smith clear for 2nd spot. Loria tries to get to his back bumper. No dice. About a half-second race lead now for Finnegan out front with just under 20 to go. 19 now. It's Finnegan, then Smith and Loria, Adam Ball in 4th, Joshua Clemens in 5th, and that's where the real battle is, 5th on back. You see Eldred and Patty side by side. Patty pitted under that caution, so he's got new tires on that number 30 car. He's going to try and fire through the field here. Works on Clemens in the KU Motorsports 44 car. And the Grillo's pickle machine comes down to the inside of the 44 and looks for 5th. He's going to have it. Hooks the bottom side and pulls right on by the 44. Kyle Purcell now side by side with Cody Eldred. And that is a pass made by Purcell. Eldred falls back to 8th. Hersey now under fire from Cameron Thompson. 16 laps to go, this time by the flag stand. Oh, Hersey a little free. Hangs on to the race car on the outside there as we've got a change for a 2nd. Loria able to go by Brian Smith, but don't look too fast. I mean, here comes the 78 right back on by. Loria's going to have to try that again. 15 laps to go that time. Oh, and Loria's free off the corner. Drives all the way down to the inside, hangs on to it. That turn 2 bump, man. They say it's a bump. I think it's just where the banking falls away, but here comes Ryan Patty in the 30 car. Hard charging down to 1.5 seconds between him and the race leader. Patty to the inside of Loria, trying to get the third spot away, and as he draws alongside, he's going to have that third spot, at least by about a half a car length. Maybe not. Loria drives back into the corner. On board here in the green 30, and now Patty might just have that 67 clear here down in turn 3. The answer is yes, he's clear for third. The battle for second gets a little better. Here comes Ryan Patty now. He's got by Loria, looking to get by Smith. That's hard to do. It's rare you pass Brian Smith ever. Even on better tires. Adam Ball, Kyle Purcell, their nose to tail. Purcell trying to break back into the top 5. You see the glowing red brake rotors there on the left side of the car. Ball at the racetrack, nearly gets the, I think he got the fence. Purcell going to take opportunity and move on by the 19 car. That is good for 5th spot. Purcell has been sneaky good lately, just breaking into the top 5 in races like this, where he does so again as Ryan Patty gets by the 78 car for second. Now 10 laps to go. Ryan Patty's got better tires. He's going to chase down the 6 car. Can he get there? It'll be 9 laps to go this time by. The gap now is second and change. Last lap he was about a 1/10.5 faster. The math works out. He should be able to get there. But Nathan Finnegan has been oh so good here at Richmond all day long. You see the 10th gain there in turn 3. That time, literally a 10th. Right behind him, Vincent Loria goes by Brian Smith for the 3rd spot, so Smith falls back to 4th. But for the race lead, Ryan Patty claws up a little more. Last lap, he was still about a 10th faster. If he can mitigate things like that, where he got 3 and got the wall, he might be able to get there for a short track Sunday night. 6 laps to go at Richmond. It's 6/10 and change. That time he was 2/10 faster. Nathan Finnegan, a sitting duck right now. Patty gets a little free. Just clawing closer and closer. This would be a 3rd win for either driver this season. Down to a half second. That lap, again, a 10th faster. 5 laps to go. It's going to work out to where Patty gets there with about 2 laps to go, it looks like. 1 car is stopped and coming to the pit lane. It looks like Evan Patinko. It looks like he's going to be done. Now down to 3/10 between these 2 drivers. 3 laps to go at Richmond Raceway. It's going to be perfect. Patty's going to get there just in time. Next time by will be popsicle sticks in the air. 1.5 miles to go here at Richmond. Patty has clawed and just driven up. 2 laps to go this time by. And it's about 3/10. The 30 car is stalled out. That's the problem. You get there, but can you get by the guy? And that time into turn 2, you see the 30 car struggling in the wake. White flag this time by for Nathan Finnegan. 1 lap to go, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. The 30 car stumbles again. Nathan Finnegan starts to stretch that lead out one more time. And the Kodak Behavioral Healthcare number 6 Chevrolet Camaro is finally going to snap that streak and go back to victory lane. 3 in a row at Richmond, 3 on the season. Nathan Finnegan is your race winner at Richmond. Ryan Patty got there, couldn't get by. There you see Loria bringing it down to the pit lane. Brian Smith just misses it. Finnegan gets some congratulatory nods from the drivers coming on by. And here comes Finnegan down to the front stretch to do some burnouts. It's the first time in a while. It's been since Richmond of the Spring where we did not broadcast. Since then, a lot of races where Finnegan has been fast and has shown speed, but just hasn't been able to go to victory lane, and finally is able to do it here at Richmond Raceway. You see the 6 just parks it perfectly there on the front stretch. We will dial him up and talk to driver number 6 with the checkered flag, at least virtually the checkered flag. Congratulations, Nathan Finnegan. Able to hang on. Were you worried there that Ryan was going to get you?
Oh gosh, appreciate it, Andrew. Yeah, we were saw the relative getting shorter and shorter and smaller and just counting down the laps, and was hoping that the dirty air would at least slow him down just enough to hold on for another lap or two. If we had a late restart there, I think I would have been a sit and duck, but we got the long run we needed, and yeah, my gosh, feels good to finally get one.
Finally got back to victory lane, 3rd one this season, 3rd time in a row now at Richmond is what Cody Eldred tells me. 238 laps led of 240, absolute domination. Were you worried when Vincent Loria put the bumper to you, then put the door to you, and just kept doing everything he could to try and get in your head and move that 6 car out of the way?
Yeah, a little bit. Not super thrilled about that, especially with like 35 to go. I get it if we're like, 10 to go, final restart potentially, but like there was plenty of time left in the race that we didn't need to be fighting that hard. It's so hard to complete the pass on the bottom here though, so if you can kind of protect that door and let them lean on you but not get the nose in, you can pretty much defend even a better tire advantage, but he definitely made it tough for sure.
You talk about the tire advantage. They had that over you. They had better tires. They had more fuel, and you were just trying to hang on. Were you at all concerned about fuel as well?
Not so much there because we ended up saving under all those yellows, and I think by the 3rd or 4th one we had more than enough to make it. And then yeah, from there it was just the tires. With having as many laps as we did on them and just trying to keep the track position, it's so crucial here. And at that point, I really wish I took tires at one point or another, but I had a feeling I probably wouldn't have been able to get back to the front if I did.
Well, clearly the 6 car knew what he was doing today. Nathan Finnegan back to victory lane. I hate that we missed it in the spring where we weren't broadcasting that race. I think that was St. Patrick's Day or Easter or something. But regardless, congratulations. Good to get back to victory lane with you. We'll see if you can do it again this season.
Appreciate it, Andrew. Thank you.
3rd win on the season for Nathan Finnegan. It comes over Ryan Patty, who is just a little bit short at the end. A pickle short, maybe. Ryan, how many laps did you need to get back to that 6 car?
Oh, man, maybe 2 more. That coming to the white flag, we were right there, and I probably would have been able to send it the next corner. Man, I needed that last run to go green, and it did. Maybe just took a little bit longer than I needed to get by the 67 and the 78 there to get to him.
Yeah, those two are putting up a fight. Do you wish they had kind of let you go, maybe get to the 6 car and rough them up?
Well, based on the way they were both driving tonight, I think they both hit everything but the lottery. I was just trying to keep it clean and give them plenty of space so that we didn't cause any other issues. And like I said, I needed it to go green because if we got a couple more cautions there, it might have just got stuck in restart hell.
Well, and you finally got even with your boy Nathan Finnegan at Atlanta. You finally went back to victory lane. A couple races later, here he goes and gets another win. Can you draw evens with him at one of these racetracks coming up? We go to Michigan next, and then Daytona, Darlington, Atlanta. I mean, Darlington, where you went to victory lane earlier, do you think you can do what he did and sweep a racetrack this season?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. I mean, Michigan is one of my favorite tracks. I know I'm always fast there, and I think I've got a pretty good shot at a win. But the tough part about Michigan, it's really draft dependent. So that means two things: you need help, and you need to stay out of trouble. So if things go well next week, pretty good shot. Should be up there fighting for a win. And yeah, Darlington, I expect to be there just the same.
Good to talk to you. Love the paint scheme. Hopefully we're talking to you next week.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And hey, congrats to Nathan, man. That thing was on rails. There's not really much I could have done without tires there.
Ryan Patty, second place this evening in the Grillo Pickles, number 30. Congratulations to him. And we'll go down and get third place. Vincent Loria, who's just a couple of spots shy and maybe a restart conundrum shy. What happened there on that restart where you got the bump?
Are you talking the one where I wrecked it?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I spun the tires. I wasn't paying attention. I was pissed that Nathan was checking up. I mean, he was like, the pace car is going 50 miles an hour. He slowed down to like 43, and then I hit him and got hit from behind. And then when we go to the zone, he's going 42 miles an hour to start it. So he's like eight below pace. So that did make me super happy. I mean, obviously I spun the tires on my own, junked it on my own. Whether that had an effect on it or not, who really knows? But it didn't make me super happy. And then, I mean, I don't know if it was the first one of these that we ran this year or if it was the Richmond race last year, but it was the same story. He got in the clean air and literally led every single lap. So, I mean, he legit might have led 239 out of 240 laps, or he might have led every one. Like, just not good racing. I hate this. The lead car has so much, such a big advantage here that's why I was getting, kind of crazy on some of those final restarts, because short of moving them, you have no options. If you don't put the bumper to him, you're just going to be sitting behind him for, the rest of the race. So tried my best, came up a little short, but it is what it is.
We've seen a bump and run from you work earlier in the season at Martinsville. Is it going to take that when we go back to Martinsville, maybe some of the other short tracks? We go to Bristol, Martinsville again. Is it going to come down to a bumper?
I don't know. The other ones I'm way better at. This is one of my worst tracks on the sim, to be honest, and I think Nathan does really well here. Coming in, I knew that it wasn't going to be good. I think I qualified 4th or 5th or something like that, and I think I was the 4th or 5th fastest car out here. I don't think that, even if I get by Nathan, who knows, he might be able to still get back by me again. I'm not too sure, but it was fun. Hopefully, when we go back to the short tracks, I wish they had New Hampshire in the playoffs. That would be great, but we'll see how it goes, but I'm not too worried about it.
Well, we go to your home track next week. Best of luck there at Michigan. Hopefully we're talking to you then.
I might be going to the actual race, so we'll see about my attendance for that one. But if I'm here, I'm sure I'll probably be talking to you.
There you go, Vincent Loria. No laps led today, but up front a whole lot. Good to talk to him at the end, and definitely not happy with the racing maybe, but I think he can hang his head high on the fact that he still came home third place, and a lot of drivers wish they could have. Let's take a look at the race results after all of that is said and done. A very, very fun race here at Richmond. A lot of drama, a lot of great racing. And it comes down to Nathan Finnegan there at the end. Ryan Patty, second spot. Vincent Loria, Brian Smith, Kyle Purcell. The top 5, a solid top 5 for sure. 4 of the best, plus Kyle Purcell. Maybe he is going to be making it the 5th best car this season. Who knows? He has been great these last few weeks. Adam Ball goes 6th. Joshua Clemens 7th. Cody Eldred, Cameron Thompson, and Brock Hersey is able to get a top 10 tonight, even after that spin from Kyle Purcell's nose. Jacob Smith, Stephen Tuck, Jacob Gladulich complete your lead lap. Nathan Brzezowski fell down to 1 lap down at the end. Not sure what happened to the 77 car. Anthony DeSeo, 15th. 2 laps down, and Evan Patinko had to give it up early. He ends up 3 laps down at the end of this race. Eric Smith, Kevin Gunther, Zach Lockett, and Brad Delph all had tons of problems between the 4 of them, whatever it is, and some very big heartbreak for a lot of those drivers, especially Brad Delph, who was trying to make it into the playoffs. You see the rest of the field on your screen, all the way down through Heath Smith. Heath did not make it anywhere beyond practice tonight. Ran practice, did not qualify, and does not start this race. Not sure what was going on there, but Heath ends up not racing. And that'll do it for us this evening from Richmond Raceway. Thanks so much for tuning in. Next up, we head out to Eldora with the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series at 8:45 Eastern on Tuesday evening. Then the Icon Cup Series continues at Michigan International Speedway. Tuesday, we head out the following Tuesday, we head out to Chicagoland with the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. And then August 22nd, that Thursday thereafter, it's the Oxford 250 for the Sim Auto Racing Association, the Yacht Club Soda Oxford 250, that is. That should be a whole lot of fun. Short track racing coming your way here at Pit Stop TV. There's plenty of places to watch. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch all carry our broadcasts. We're also on Instagram and Twitter, or X. I gotta get that one right. X, rather, not Twitter. I still call it Twitter, but I gotta get working on that one. Thanks so much for tuning in, though. It's been a pleasure as always. A big thank you as well go out to Whiplash Simcams, ATVO, and CC's Business, and now Cody Williams Design. Fireworks there on the backstretch. Fireworks on the racetrack this evening. Had a lot of fun at Richmond. We'll see you all next time, hopefully, at Eldora with the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. We'll see you there.